Hello, this is Tim Campbell with TBC Action Coach of Indiana with our Business Spotlight series. The purpose is to interview and promote local business owners through our email database as well as our social channels, as well as provide them coaching. This is a free service that we're offering because if every small business is strong, then the economy is strong. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Mark. Welcome, Mark. It's great to have you on the program today.
Hey, thank you, Tim. Appreciate you having me and taking this time. I'm excited to be here.
Fantastic. Well, why don't we start with telling us a little bit about yourself as well as your background?
Yeah, so born and raised here in Indy, grew up here, South Side. Went to school up a little bit north of here at Taylor University. Got a college degree in computer science. Kind of went down that path for 20 plus years, but kind of always in the background was this passion and desire to do the performing arts. And so in 2001, I started getting into community theater, and that led to doing some improv comedy with Comedy Sports here locally, and then kind of venturing on my own and started an actual comedy troupe. And we began to travel the Midwest, just creating these moments of laughter, moments of fun. And then around 2016, I was feeling this, I want to go a little more deeper. And so we were beginning to bring video into our shows. So I was cutting my teeth on holding the camera, editing. I was like, you know what if we could create even a deeper moment, a deeper experience for people, especially if people are hurting. I just feel like film is way underutilized in this type of capacity, this kind of intentional help, if you will. And so that's when I started to look at the camera a little bit more deeper, began to invest in that. Even as we speak, we're wrapping up my MFA this fall to get my master's in film through Vermont College out of Montpelier, Vermont. So that's kind of what got me into film. And then it was like, what group could we help the most? What's a hurting group? And the survivors of commercial sexual exploitation, these young teens that are finding themselves in a situation of coercion. Man, what a better area to help. And because the way therapy works, it's talk-based therapy, but if your client doesn't want to talk, it makes it difficult. And film, as we know, is very disarming. And there's so many powerful things with that film brings that just help these moments so that these therapy sessions can be effective and not lose time or momentum when clients shut down and don't want to talk, so we can shift, they can pivot to a film and show a film and continue to have that conversation and kind of put them in the authority seat as they get to have a observant role, but still participate and begin that healing process. So that's kind of how I got from there to where we are today.
Wow, what a journey. So tell us in a 60-second commercial, tell us about your business.
Yeah, so we're a film company. We create short films. These meaning runtime is under 10 minutes, with the idea that these films will be utilized in a therapeutic context. Each film comes with a facilitator guide, so a licensed clinical therapist can use these films specifically in the treatment of survivors of child sexual exploitation.
Wow. So Mark, what's the name of your company?
So we're called Point of View Story. And of course, you can find us pointofviewstory.com. And our tagline is Beauty Healing Film. We believe that these young women have the beauty and the films are beautiful. And we believe in using them that it will accelerate the healing process through film.
Fantastic. So Mark, who do you serve? Really, who's your best customer, or what we call a target audience?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very, very niche, very defined. It's those agencies here in Indiana, as well as across the US and across the world, actually, that are providing clinical services to these survivors under the age of 18, 12 to 18-year-old young girls that have unfortunately been sucked into this world of coercion and are trying to come out of that life. So there's agencies that serve that. There's a lot of agencies on the preventative awareness side, but we're definitely targeting the clinical side, those that are actually providing those therapeutic services and want to support them.
What a wonderful service. How long have you guys been in business?
So when you talk about small, we are small. We are just starting. I've incorporated in 2018, and we began this journey. And for the last 2 years, we've been just in production mode, producing these films and working with clinical staff and getting feedback, working with survivors. So we are trauma informed, healing centered inputs. And we're actually going to launch publicly this November at the Juvenile Sex Trafficking Conference in DC. But we are beginning to engage people even now. So uh, we're kind of working like in a pilot or beta type model as we speak now. We have 3 that we're beginning to distribute. So it's kind of where we're at the launching progress. So yes, very new, very at the beginning stages for sure.
Well, congratulations on that. So
Thank you.
tell me, Mark, what's been the greatest impact that COVID has had on your business?
Yeah, so it's been a blessing and a challenge at the same time. I think for a lot of people, I mean, but some of the silver linings have been that it's forced us to have keep the production crews small, um, which is a negative. But the positive is it reduces your burn rate. So the way we're trying to get to launch is we are definitely raising. We have a fiscal sponsorship, so we've been doing fundraising to get these films produced, and then we'll switch to a for-profit model um, once we launch based on a streaming subscription model. So in that process, reducing our burn rate is a good thing. So keeping our production crew small, and the second piece of that has just been reprioritizing tasks. So things that we might have done a little bit later, we've just began those relationship buildings even sooner, which in hindsight actually was probably a good move to begin these conversations earlier than later. So we've been building relationships here locally and nationally. Seems like every week we're talking to somebody in a different state. So yeah, just building those relationships, telling them what's coming, and then yeah, and just smaller production crews to keep things COVID safe and keep our actors and the crew healthy and safe. And it seems to work. It's worked itself out.
We've all had to pivot during all this craziness. So it sounds like you've guys have been able to quickly figure it out and pivot into finding a model that works for you guys. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it has been. I know a lot of funding has been redirected towards COVID relief, and because so this is another negative. It's because we're new. We don't have that historical data that a lot of the PPP programs require. We run red right now because it's all production and expenses. So unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of the relief, but we were able still to secure some funding, and I'm thankful that there's still people out there still supporting these types of initiatives and other initiatives outside of the COVID relief thing. So that was encouraging too.
So here's an interesting question, Mark. It's been said that smart people learn from their mistakes and wise people learn from the mistakes of others. So
Mhm.
what mistakes have you made along the way that you'd be willing to share to help other entrepreneurs learn from your experience?
Yeah. Um, I would say like this an industrial revolution that started in the late 1700s. I mean, if you're like me, you found yourself working for an employer where the model is you drive into this building and your tasks are handed to you. And so your work is driven by that. And so you have all these external pressures, if you will, that drive you to be successful. And if you don't produce, you lose your job. And when you begin to pivot and begin to pursue your own work, those voices are gone. There's nobody telling you what needs to be done next. Nobody's telling you how to prioritize. And so there's a gazillion things that need to be done. Um, and so this internal discipline really takes a lot of muscle and work and to do that. And so I think easing into it has been huge. I've been transitioning for probably 10 years. Like just with the comedy was a great first run of beginning to learn how to manage that while you still have the day job. So now as we're more and more fully stepping out, it gave me that chance to begin to build those muscles of how do you stay internally driven when those external forces are no longer present because you have to drive that, and that is much harder than you would imagine. So I've I've the mistakes would just be lost time. Time is the currency. Somebody asked if you could have money or this, like, even with all the money in the world, if you can't manage the time that you're essentially freeing up, you'll
Mhm.
struggle. So time is king in this transition for sure.
Thank you for sharing that. There are certainly way more balls to juggle as a
Oh
business
my
owner
gosh.
than we assumed, isn't there?
Yeah, and mentally and yeah, and you still got to stay balanced, and you still got to do all these things, and definitely enlisting others and coaches like yourself and others that can help you kind of prioritize that, because you do need. And so I set up I set up deadlines nonetheless. I mean, they're artificial, but I still have to set them up because that's the rhythm I'm used to. So still creating deadlines and make those deadlines with somebody, with another human. So you have to meet them and and give account for your progress. Definitely helps uh, kind of recreate that environment.
Wonderful. So second last question here, Mark. We've got your contact information to be able to share when we post this, but is there anything else that we should include? Do you have any types of offers that you're running, or how can people find out more about what you're
Yeah,
doing?
absolutely. Definitely hit up pointofviewstory.com. We got a couple films that give you a taste of our feel and flavor. And if you're an organization, or if you know of an organization that is providing clinical services, um, we are at that spot where we're looking for 5 agencies that we're going to begin to actually give the films away for free. We want to begin this pilot beta process, and so we're looking to partner with 5 agencies that we're just going to give the films away initially, and as we get feedback with you and walk with you on that. So that's kind of offer we're definitely starting now. This is the first time we publicly announced that, but we'll be rolling that out. So yeah, so if you know of an agency, or if you're an agency yourself here in Indy, we'd love to hear from you. Just go to pointofviewstory.com, click the contact us, or you can email me, mark@pointofviewstory.com, and we'll be in touch.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Mark. So last question here. Tell us what's been most inspiring to you during all the craziness of the past year?
Yeah, I alluded to it earlier, but I love that there's still opportunities, and especially the underserved opportunities. Not within a COVID perspective, but because of COVID is happening, it makes sense of a lot of resources go to that. But there's still resources for minorities and people of color and other things that as I look at grants myself, I don't qualify for a lot of these, and that's actually a good thing. That these groups have been underserved. So to see those opportunities still in the midst of this pandemic, still out there, is encouraging. And the second part of that is just, I'm excited that we live in a day where film is much more accessible. We don't, you don't have to cut film and have all this equipment. If you have a pocket a camera, you have something that you can start with. And I really feel we can begin to see film used in a whole new way that can help people heal. So I'm excited about that, and the reception has been amazing. So looking forward to maybe others also seeing how film can be used for good.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Mark, that does conclude our interview. For those listening, if you heard something that piques your interest and like to find out a little more about what Mark is doing, please go to his website. The contact information, again, will be posted with this video. If you are an agency that supports those who have been exploited in the sex industry, please reach out to Mark, learn more about the videos that he's producing, and take advantage of that offer of being able to be in part of his beta test and get those videos for free. Hey,
Yes,
Mark, it's been an absolute pleasure learning about you and your company, having you on the program today. I wish you tremendous success.
awesome. Appreciate it, Tim. Thank you for what you're doing for myself and all the many others. Thank
You
you.
are very welcome. Have a fantastic day.
You too. See you.